Friends and family, welcome back to the Eastern Washington University Recreation Center for this battle between the Eastern Washington Eagles and the visiting University of Washington Huskies, a battle of Pac-8 opponents. And a quick shot there by the Huskies. My name's Tyler, joined as always by Gary Allen. And Gary, you weren't here for Saturday's game last week, which was good on your part. You were here for the big win. But heading into this weekend, it's another round of Pac-8 games. Couple against the University of Washington, who are the reigning Pac-8 Conference Championship winners. They won the regional berth last year. What are we expecting here between these two teams? We've seen Washington quite a bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, especially with Washington not having Shippey, because Shippey was, well, Eastern's putting pressure right away on them, but Shippey was their main guy that they ran everything. But then I'm looking at their lineup. They got a lot of returning veterans, so I expect Washington to be strong. And with Eastern, it's time now. You know, they've had enough games. They figured out, they've changed their lineup a little bit. It's Pac-8 time now. It's like, let's get rolling. Let's at least get a split this weekend.
And just to recap, Eastern announcing their captain team for this season, just as the game was getting underway. The assistant captains, Jake Best, Frank Flood, and Sam Thompson. And the man with the C on his chest this season, the leader in the locker room, Mr. Trent Wells. I had quite a bit of time in California to hang out with Trent. He was stuck in the U-Haul with me. And it was good to get a chance to hear his philosophy and really see the leadership that he had. I'm glad that the team decided to give him that letter.
Yeah, he's an outstanding hockey player, and he seems like a super nice kid.
And as we say that, he comes off the bench and wears a puck, throwing his body in the way. And now on the far side, here comes Isaac Hood. He's got Cole Best near side, pulls it back, shoots, and scores! Isaac Hood with a highlight reel goal, and then he's going to get sent to the box after it looks like he ran over the top of the netminder for the Huskies, who I believe is Tyler Roberts. We saw him a bit last year. He's shaking this one off. But Eastern Washington striking quick and with some passion here, and it looks like the official's still trying to sort out what's going on here. But as it stands, just a minute 36 into this game, it's Eastern Washington on top with a toe drag goal around the defender by Isaac Hood.
Yeah, it was a heck of a toe drag Hood put on him. I didn't really see him run into him, but that's what they're going to do. They're going to give it that. But it was funny. I was just getting ready to say it'll be nice if Eastern could get a lead and see exactly how they do with the lead early in a game and see what Washington can do, because I mean, I'm looking at Maloney was here last year. Klink was here last year. I always had trouble with his name last year too. Arzumanov. Yeah. So they got a lot of talent, but I wanted to see how Eastern would respond, because really this whole year they haven't really had the lead early. And now they do. Look at that little toe drag right there. We're looking at the replay.
And I'm genuinely not sure that Hood actually ran into him. It almost looks like Roberts was diving for the puck and ended up hitting the post. I guess maybe that kind of as he was skating away.
What are they doing?
It looks like they're going to send him to the locker room. Quick, productive night for Isaac Hood. A minute 36 into this game, and he's going to head to the locker room. He's going to head to the locker room with a point on the score sheet.
Unless they gave him a 5 and a 10, but that would be that. I don't know. We'll have to wait to see what the call actually is, but that'll be an interesting call. Because if they did bounce him out of the game, that's really going to hamper EWU's offense, because Hood's so talented with that puck. And with the new lineups that they had going, I was really interested to see how that was going to match up for Eastern. But I'm really happy to see Eastern getting that first goal. I think that can set that tempo for them better than what they have been the last, well, let's face it, 7 games or so. They were so far behind so early. They were always battling, using extra energy to get back in it. Now they're in it. We'll see what happens. But I think it's a good idea what you were talking about, the assistant captain, the captains. That was great pick. I couldn't have think of anybody else and any of those guys deserving of it.
So we'll see. We'll get the official call here from the score box and find out what's going on. We see a 2-minute penalty on the board. It could be 2 minutes for head contact, which would be 2 and a 5. Oh, and now just a 5.
And
I'm going to stop talking for a second.
It's going to have to be a game, but they may go off the ice.
So a major in a game, I would assume maybe for head contact, as Roberts' helmet had fallen off. I'm not, again, looking back at the replay, if you're watching on YouTube, you can go back. On Facebook, unfortunately, you're not able to. But if you're on YouTube, go back and look. It didn't look overtly malicious.
No, it didn't look
obviously, goalies have special protections like quarterbacks in the NFL or pitchers in baseball.
But you could tell Hood wasn't trying to run into him, and I thought his helmet fell off when he fell on the ice. So definitely got the 5, so that Eastern's going to, if they could kill us off, that's going to give them a ton of momentum.
This will also be good for them because they just could not stay ahead against the University of Idaho last weekend. 6 goals scored in like 3.5 minutes between the two teams, and Idaho coming out on top in that one, as we mentioned. But now the Huskies with 4.5 minutes of power play time here on the attacking end of the ice.
And for people who aren't aware of it, if you get a 5-minute, they can score as many times as they want, and it doesn't end the power play. So Washington has a big advantage here right now.
And the Eagles have done a good job of killing off major penalties this year. I'm not sure that that's necessarily a good thing. But killing off major penalties, killing off the 5-on-3 in their first 8 games of the year, I hate to say it, but they've almost become experts. Which is not where you want to be if you're an Eastern Eagle or a fan or a coach. Long gone are the days of leading the nation in penalty minutes, but still some sticky situations with the 8 or 10 they take a night.
Well, like you said, you almost got used to Eastern playing shorthanded because they took a lot of penalties the last couple of years, and they actually developed offensively tremendously last year with so many penalties. They did a nice job on the attack. So
when they've got 2 shorthanded goals and 2 4-on-4 goals already this year. So 3:19 left. Huskies doing a good job of cycling the puck, moving it around the zone, not getting a ton of shots on this offensive attack. This one into the boots of Maloney, who is standing in the center of the zone. He's going to chase it down into the corner for the Huskies. Now Maloney changes direction, still with it on the far side. Tries to backhand it out front to Klenk. Those 2 returners for the Huskies. Smith takes it, fires it, tipped out front by Maloney, but he ended up putting that right into the midsection, into the logo of Brendan Carew. 2:50 left to play on this penalty.
I'll tell you, Maloney was one player last year that was really, really solid too for UW. And even though I loved how Shippy played, I'm kind of glad he's not here, but I really do miss watching him because that kid was the most talented college hockey player I personally have seen.
He had so much talent at this level, and I think everybody in the league is probably excited that he's no longer here. Nothing against him personally.
No, he was a great kid.
And real quick, some incredible defense on the back end of that goal by Mac Tierney, as he had 2 white jerseys in front of him, battled away, put the puck up into the netting, and gave his team a chance to reset.
Well, I think you'll see the D-men for Eastern step it up a little bit too, because they've been given a lot of shots that they've.
And that one passed right out front. He had the pick of his spot. I believe that was Blake Strand.
But that was an example of UW sneaking in, and the Eagles lost him, and he just kind of came in, did a nice little backhand. There's nothing Carew could have done on that one. That was a nice snipe by him.
Nice backhand, top shelf, went just inside the crossbar there. And that's where the defense here really needs to be able to step up and put a body on that guy out front. That's typically what they've been doing this season, but nobody found Strand out in front, and it's going to lead to an even game. This one coming about 2.5 minutes after Eastern's last goal.
Well, I'll give Strand credit. I mean, he followed up on the play, but you can't give him that wide open of a space. The D needed to close down a little bit tighter and try to put the body on him rather than trying to do a stick check on him, eliminate him from the play. But the next 2:38 of this penalty kill Eastern on. This is crucial for them because they have a lot of spark tonight. You can see it out of them, and this is a big rivalry. Them and Western, they're always heated, and I think Eastern's picking that up. Is like, no, we need to turn it up tonight. And so far, they've done it.
So officially, that penalty on Hood was 5 minutes for head contact, and then another 2 for roughing. I'm not sure if those are going to be consecutive or concurrent.
But they didn't give him a game?
So they gave him a 5 for head contact and a game misconduct. So 5 in a game for the head contact and then 2 for roughing.
That's going to put a lot of pressure on Eastern. Somebody's going to have to pick up that slack without him out there leading the rushes and stuff. It's time to step up, fellas. One thing Eastern's doing a nice job, they're slowing UW in that neutral zone, and that's one thing you saw last year. UW likes to set that up in the neutral zone, and Eastern's clogged them up pretty well tonight with that.
So officially, it is 5 in a game for head contact and then 2 minutes for a rough that will be served consecutively. So really a 7-minute power play opportunity for the Huskies. Eastern really has to keep them out of the back of the net for the next minute 18 and do the best they can to only give up that one on the major penalty. A good clearance this time by the Eagles, sending it back down to the other end of the ice.
That was Young that did a nice job by him battling that. He went in and took 2 Huskies off of that one and got the puck. Excellent heads-up play by him.
Again, this one sauced high into the air, snatched out of the air by Klenk. Now over to the far side, push to the near corner. Eastern giving chase, a swing and a miss by Young on that one, but he's still putting that body on a man out front. Puck near side now to Klenk, now to the far side. Dribbling puck towards the netminder. Sometimes those ones are tough to kind of pick up, and Carew did a good job. This time, Jake Best going to send that down the ice off the wall to the waiting stick of Tyler Roberts. 22 seconds left on the major penalty. Puck knocked off of a stick over to the far side. Right out front now, Wells doing a good job of pushing his man off of the puck, but the Huskies still able to hold on to it. Klenk at the top of the zone. That one's off of the skates of Joel Lusk. He's going to limp back to the bench.
Nice job of getting his skate in front of that, though. I mean, it's going to hurt, but that was a nice job by Lusk trying to block that puck.
The 5-minute penalty expired, 1:45 of minor penalty time. So as a reminder, a goal here does negate the rest of that penalty time. But Eastern going to do their best to keep UW out of the back of the net. Essentially gave up a goal after the first 3 minutes, and then we'll have 4 minutes of total power play time after that. So it'll go a long way for Eastern's momentum if they're able to keep the Huskies out of the back of the net here for the next minute 23.
Outstanding job by Carew on that one. That was a point-blank shot, and I think that was by Morris, and he has a rocket for a shot, so... But that's what made UW so dangerous. Is even without Shippey, they just cycle constantly, and they do it from the low slot area and the high slot area, and they do an outstanding job of it. If you look right now, their offense, they got 2 people cherry picking up here, so they're going to try to confuse EWU, and that's where that neutral zone is going to be crucial.
And right there, as you said, Tracy picking it up. He was just waiting along the low wall. Couple back and forth passes between him and Watton, and then a shot on net, and again cleared by Eastern Washington. Eagles doing a good job on defense, getting this out of their own end and forcing the Huskies to go 70, 80, 90, 200 feet to reset.
No, Eastern's done an outstanding job in this penalty time that they're killing off. They really look sharp tonight.
Bouncing puck out front. Carew, a huge save. His glove on the ice. Knocked that one away. As there was some pushing against Carew.
An interference call coming up.
I would be shocked if this is against Carew.
No,
okay, this is against the Huskies. He was looking from the other end of the ice in that direction. It looks like it's going to be I think it might be Maxim Watton. Actually, my apologies. It's Benjamin Lampman. He's going to take a 2-minute timeout. So 4-on-4 hockey for 24 seconds. And then a minute 36 of Eastern Washington's first power play of the game. This penalty coming 8:27 as it's Lampman for an interference.
So we were talking about how Eastern's looking a lot better tonight. I want to touch a little bit on what Wyatt Stevenson did on that penalty kill right before this last whistle. Rather than just getting the puck and shooting it down, he skated a little bit in his area looking for a teammate, and he ate up another 2-3 seconds by doing that. Outstanding job by him, because those are the little things I haven't seen this year, but they go a long ways, especially if you're a man down. Nice job by Stevenson on that.
And Eastern back to full strength. Only gave up one penalty during the 7 straight minutes of shorthanded hockey for them. And now they've got a chance heading the other way. Eastern hasn't been great on the power play, but they've been able to stretch the defense a little bit and find the back of the net a couple of times. They basically have half of a power play here to do so. It's going to go to the far side. Eastern circling back around as Trenton Wells in his own end. Near side now to Casey Young. Young pushes it ahead to Lusk, who's streaking through the center of the zone. Lusk has Thompson on the near side. He's going to circle it back behind the net. He's got Young up at the near side point. Instead, Lusk circling it through the zone, gives it to Wells, over to Lusk on the far side. Shot taken in through the 5-hole, looked like, of Tyler Roberts. And just like that, Eastern back on top, and some more extracurriculars in the blue paint of the Huskies netminder. He's trying to plead his case to the officials, but they're saying none of it. And Joel Lusk going to get credit for that goal. 9 minutes and 47 seconds into the game. Eastern leads by 2.
Well, you see this new lineup changes, and the players are playing a lot more fluid with each other. And I've noticed throughout this first period, they're so way ahead of what they've done the last 7-8 games on setting things up. They know exactly where they want to go, and that's possibly because of the line change. They got more comfortable with how they set it up. That was an outstanding attack by Eastern on that one, because they set it up all the way in their zone, and you could see they were looking for that one guy to streak, and he did. And bam, it went in the back of the net. Nice job by Eastern. Eastern's playing well tonight.
So it looks like they're going to send another player, Strand, to the box for the Huskies. So Strand with a goal and now now a penalty. Looking for the ACHA Gordie Howe hat trick. Just looking for that assist now.
Big 2 minutes here for Eastern. If they could clock another goal in, that's really going to set you a dub back. It truly will, because you can see Eastern's playing a lot harder than they did last week easily.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they did at practice this week, but this looks like the Friday night team we saw last week.
Yeah, there was a message had to be sent, because they are playing sharp. I haven't seen them play this well all year, the whole year. They look like they're in sync tonight.
They are definitely buzzing, and now a chance from Wells. He's going to play it near side to Lusk. He scored the last goal.
Well, you can just see how Eastern's trying to set up. Now, you didn't see this in the last few games, but they're definitely they're doing a more of basically a cycle game in the neutral zone, and they're purposely looking for that man. So they've stepped up.
And that looks like it's going to be another penalty against the Huskies. Lusk with it, goalie to the bench, right out front, pushed in the near post, and Eastern Washington takes a 3-1 lead over the Huskies. 2 goals on 2 power plays here, just 39 seconds apart.
I don't know what the message was, Tyler, this week at practice, but they look like a whole different hockey club. I mean, night and day difference. This is what I thought Eastern was going to look like about 4 games ago. They came to play tonight, and UW thinking like, okay, they lost to Idaho last week. This is going to be shoe-in. They're in for a long night, because Eastern is just coming at them hard.
Well, I think this goes back to last season. Watching the Huskies win the Pac-8 championship on your own ice has got to sting.
Yeah.
And not even being in that game with a chance to win, being knocked out by them the round before that, I think there's a lot of pent-up frustration for Eastern Washington. I think this game's been circled on their calendar since early in the preseason.
And I totally concur with that. And I also think Eastern realizes they should have beat UW. in that game, to be honest with you, that they lost. They gave UW everything they want.
And the Huskies heading back to the box again. This time it looks like it's loose with a trip. So it took Eastern Washington less than 40 seconds on their first power play. Took them less than 40 seconds on their second power play. A chance here for Eastern Washington to strike quick and really make the Huskies work for the remaining 49 minutes of this contest.
It's a whole different EWU squad from what we've seen throughout this year right now. They are playing extremely well.
Tierney across the back. Now back to Tierney. He's going to come across the Eastern Washington line. Pushes it ahead to Cole Best. He rims it around. Eastern not able to keep it in. Out of his net comes Carew. First player there is going to be a Husky. I believe that's Loon. It actually looks like that was Watton. And Eastern going to take a penalty here on that hit to Watton. Best holds on to that. We'll see who goes to the box. It'll be an interference call. So Eastern giving up that penalty, something we had talked about them doing in the past, but minute 25 left on the minor penalty to Fuller loose. And Jake Best going to take a 2-minute timeout. So the Huskies will have about 35 seconds of power play time, but 4-on-4 hockey here between these two teams. Lots of open ice.
Yeah. And it's too bad. Best, he came in just a little late when the initial EWU player got him, but I love the way Best plays, so I can't fault him on that one. That was just an unfortunate incident. The Best brothers, I just really, really like their style of game.
Maloney with it at the near side, right in front of the Eastern Washington shoot door. He's going to push that down into the corner, giving chase still is Young. Young tries to feed it out front. Too many red jerseys in the way. And now Wells surveys the ice. He's going to go to the far side. Thompson with a man coming. Bounces off of his skate right to the waiting stick of Ali. I'm sorry, that's Darren Morris, actually. Spokane native.
He's a darn good hockey player. I really like his game, too.
Puck out front, just wide of the net again. 40 seconds left on the power play. Or, I'm sorry, on the penalty for the Huskies. And we'll have a stoppage with 34 seconds left on their penalty clock. 8:07 left in this first period. The scoreboard getting a workout in this period, Gary. Penalties, goals, shots, everything.
This has been a good hockey game, but, we were just talking about it about 5 minutes ago, but if you look at Wells and Young together, they did a nice job of pinching off UW's attack on there, and that's you expect that out of them, but nice job by both of them. That's a good tandem that they have going there.
And as you say it, here comes Wells. He's going to go out into the corner. He's got Young on the near side. If you missed it, Wells named the captain of this squad prior to the game on Mystery Side Picture giveaway night. This one touched up right at the center stripe, right into a waiting Husky glove. Now bringing it down the left side of the ice. Drop off, kicked away, and now sent all the way back out into the neutral zone.
What I'm also noticing Eastern, in which they haven't done before, they're rotating. So when one of the D-men started to come up, that forward's dropping back down, and that's something they haven't been doing this year, and they've done it a couple times. They're making sure their area is covered by one of their forwards that the D-man goes up. Another great sign for Eastern there.
Got Swoop appearance in the building.
He's been hanging out here a lot.
He has. He's a hockey fan.
I like him. I like the mascot. I do. It's great seeing him out here.
Yeah, right around the outside of Tierney goes Smith. Daniel Smith going to try and take it towards the goal mouth. Deflected away towards the back wall. And now Maloney again. He loses it, but still sticks on top of the puck as Jake Best trying to get away from him. Klink near side, tipped right out front, and a big save by Carew. Almost instinctual there. He got his leg pads down on the ice at the last second. And that'll be an icing as both teams back to full strength. There's nothing to come from the Jake Best interference penalty, but Eastern able to find the back of the net twice on consecutive power plays, just under 40 seconds apart earlier in this period. And that is how we got to this 3-1 score line. Puck sent down the ice, pushed ahead, and I have to give a shout out to the Eagles Hockey Booster Club for helping us set this up and get that scoreboard on the screen, get that second camera so you guys can see all of those penalty clocks for games like tonight. If you're looking to help out with Eastern Washington hockey, you want to be a part of the team, head over to eagleshockeyboosters.com to find out how you can support Eastern Washington University hockey. Delayed penalty coming against the Huskies, and now a 2-on-0 opportunity. If Cole can catch up to that, just a couple of feet in front of him, Roberts wisely covers that up, but it's going to send another of his players to the box for a hook. It's penalty 14:08 of the first period, and it's going to be Maloney.
This is a bit surprising, though, because UW, I mean, they were physical last year, but they're taking a lot of penalties tonight, and Eastern is actually doing a nice job of trying to take advantage of it. But this is a different style I haven't seen out of UW.
Yeah, they did lose a couple of big players from last year that we've mentioned. Shippey, for one. He gave Eastern Washington just absolute fits last year.
Gave everybody fits last year.
Tracy has it on the right side. Shot covered by Carew. 1:41 left on the power play for the Eastern Washington Eagles.
I tell you, I'm extremely impressed with Eastern tonight. They look like a whole different hockey club.
So face-off coming, glove side of Carew. Carew stands 6 feet, 240 pounds from Blaine, Washington, in net for the Eagles. Lusk sends that, rims it around, picked up by Flood. No left for his own man on the far side. Now it bounces back towards Carew, out in front of his own crease. He's going to slow it down and set it off to the side of his own cage. Eastern now has to go the full length of the ice on the power play. 1:15 left to play. Here comes Lusk across the blue line. He feeds that towards the goal mouth, and it's slapped away. Now Wells using his feet, pushes that out front, looking for a player in a red jersey, but nobody able to get their stick onto it. Now Lusk having to battle on the far side with Morris. Near side now to Young. Young thinks about the shot, takes it, blockered away. Lusk on the far side for Eastern Washington. The Eagles still in possession, 45 seconds left on the power play. A good idea by Thompson, but doesn't find anybody, and now Wells going to have to go back towards his own blue line and reset as the Eagles get some fresh skates on the ice. Looking to mirror him there is Wolf, doing a good job on the forecheck pressure on this penalty kill for the Huskies.
But Wells has such good eye-hand coordination that I give credit to Wolf. He was shadowing him pretty heavily, but Wells wasn't going to give that puck up there.
Now Best's going to rim it around. Back up top to Tierney. Tierney has the Best brothers down low. He goes to Jake. Cole takes a step towards the front of the net, and that is through traffic. Well read by Tyler Roberts. 7 seconds remaining, so Eastern may have one more shot on this power play if they can win the face-off, but we always talk about it. The Huskies doing a good job of getting a line change on now so that they don't have to deal with much of a power play here. Only 7 seconds to get their legs a little bit tired. A big hit right off of the face-off by Cole Best. And he is going after that puck in the corner with some enthusiasm. Out of the box comes Maloney. He touches it up at neutral ice. And he's going to beat Eriks to that one, but they're going to call that one dead for an icing. The Eagles catching a break there, heading back the other way. Face-off coming in front of Tyler Roberts.
I think it was Morris that was down, and the Best brothers decided to tag team him because they both land blasted him in the corner. But you got to like how they play, the Best boys. You just got to like their style.
Puck bouncing, skittering the length of the ice. Wells going to pick it up. No look pass, gets it to his own man. Cheney spins around. That one almost taken off of his stick. He gets it over to Flood. Frank turns, couldn't find the puck at his feet. Maloney had it. He's going to stick with him. Maloney feeds it out front. A good pass right to the slot, but well read by Thompson. And now the Eagles heading the other way. Frank on the right side. Flood passes it across, just a couple of steps behind Thompson. There's another one of those miscommunication plays that'll come as these players kind of solidify on their lines this year. It's the right idea.
But even with that, you could see that they were in sync. They were looking for that play.
Bouncing puck out front, poked in on the back door again by the Huskies. Eastern Washington has got to cover that back door if they want to be successful tonight.
They do, and on that goal, I think Crew probably would be one that would say he'd want that back because he directed the rebound, and I'm so used to him directing it to left or right. And that one got out a little bit away from and came straight back out in the slot, and the Huskies buried it. But you don't see that often with Crew. He's such an outstanding goaltender that every once in a while that'll happen to the best of them.
I believe that that goal came from the stick of Daniel Smith. So he's pulled the Huskies within one late in this first period. As a reminder, Eastern without Isaac Hood tonight. He scored a goal just a minute 36 into this game and then was immediately sent to the locker room for running into Tyler Roberts, the Huskies netminder. He got 7 minutes worth of penalties. 5-minute major for head contact and a game misconduct, as well as a 2-minute minor penalty for roughing.
But Eastern did such a great job of really, they gave up one, but I mean, killing off that much time, that was a phenomenal job by the Eagles.
Wells again lifts it out into neutral ice. It's going to roll the length of the ice, but it was a good idea by the new captain. Try and slow that down, give his team some time to get to that. 2:03 left to play in this opening period. Big implications coming out of this weekend in the Pac-8 if history serves as any bearing. These two teams typically towards the top of the league, and these two games could come down to playoff position when we get to that point in the season.
And I don't know what UW's record is. I know they won a couple of games.
Now coming the other direction, not able to get there first are the Eagles, as giving chase is Holden Masterson. Now Cheney takes a big bump in the back up against the boards, or up against the bench of the Huskies. High puck right out front, slapped back towards the Eastern Washington bench, but still on the far side. That's going to be another University of Washington penalty, as touching it up is Tracy. And they're going to say a cross check.
I think that's Watson that's going in the box, I think. No, it looks like... No, it's Campbell.
Be Campbell for a cross check.
This would be a great way to close this period out if Eastern can get that puck behind the net. Put a little more thought process in the Huskies' head, like what do we got to do?
So as it stands through the first period, Eastern Washington had a player sent off with a 5-minute major and a 2-minute minor, as Flood just wrecking people going through the zone.
He did blow
casually.
up.
So Eastern Washington has had 9 penalty minutes in this opening period. The Huskies, with that last penalty, have had 10. So you're never a good position when a team's taken a major that then you've taken more penalties than they have. Be something to watch Matt Cleaton and the rest of the Husky bench bosses figure out for the rest of this game.
Oh, I'm sure they'll have a chat about some of these penalties that they're taking.
Eastern wins that. Back to Young. Young able to keep it in? No, not able to keep it in. So the Eagles going to have to reset. The Huskies going to take their time coming out of the zone. Playing with it is Clank. He's finally going to send it all the way down the ice as we're under 1 minute left to play here in the first period of the weekend between these two Pac-8 opponents. Young chases it down the wall. Out front to Frank Flood. Catching it in his glove, trying to drop it straight to his stick, and just couldn't get it cleanly. Now shot from the top of the zone. Past Thompson, shielding the netminder. Eastern still able to hold it in. 30 seconds left. Cross the zone, off the wall. Young going to try and keep that in. He's successful. Pushes it towards the goal mouth. Baseballed into the chest of Thompson. Now on the far side. Wells going to try and get that. 15 seconds. And they're going to say a hand pass, I believe. So 16.4 face-off coming right in front of the Eastern Washington bench.
But I love what I'm seeing out of the Eagles tonight. Haven't seen it all year. They're covering for each other extremely well. Their defensemen are a little freer knowing that their forwards are going to come back and cover for them. Makes it a lot easier game to play.
This one sticked up into the netting behind the Eastern Washington goal. So the Eagles going to come out in the second period likely with about 25 seconds of power play time over these Huskies. So not a whole lot, but enough to get going. It only took the Eagles 1:36 to score to open this contest. And it's always tough in that second period to kill off a penalty because of that long change. So that puck goes behind the net. Carew gonna just let it head over towards the Zamboni corner. Eastern Washington taking a 3-2 lead into the first intermission of the weekend over Pac-8 reigning champions, University of Washington Huskies. We'll be back in 20 minutes with more Eastern Washington University men's hockey. Friends and family, welcome back to the Eastern Washington University Recreation Center, where we had a heck of a first period here between these Pac-8 opponents, the visiting Huskies and the hometown Eastern Washington Eagles. Eastern Washington striking first in that first period as Isaac Hood took the puck to the net just a minute 36 into the contest. And then just a few minutes later, it was Blake Strand for the Huskies. Eastern would answer with back-to-back power play goals just 40 seconds apart from Lusk and Thompson. And then with just under 3 minutes remaining, it was Daniel Smith who brought this game within one. Eastern going to start on the power play here in this second period as Morgan Campbell going to take the rest of his 25-second minor penalty. My name's Tyler Pisani, joined by Gary Allen. And Gary, that was one of the better periods we've seen from the Eagles so far this season. What are you expecting here in number two?
Well, one is, to me, it was their best period I've seen them play all year. They look sharp, and you can see their nice shot.
Lusk off of the crossbar.
But
and out of the box comes Morgan.
You can see they said now they're starting to work on their offensive attack. Their defensemen are leading actually most of the attacking rushes. You can just see a whole different squad here tonight than I've seen in the first 8 games this year. They're finally developing. They're gelling better. And I really like how they're staying spread out. They haven't got trapped in. And they're playing outstanding hockey tonight.
Kicked away from Carew. Both of the goals by the Huskies scored from the back post. If Eastern Washington can just clean up that back post area, they should be pretty solid for the next 39 minutes.
Yeah, and again, on the one back post, that was just one of those fluky things. The other one, yeah, you knew that some of the D-men wanted it back, but I really like how Eastern's playing right now. They look like they finally have decided, okay, this is what we got to do, and they were implementing the plan that the coaches set up. A total different hockey club than I've seen all year.
Well, and this will go a long way for their confidence. You know, getting through that first period against the reigning Pac-8 champions, that does a lot for you. I'm sure the locker room was full of excitement, loud music, smiles, which isn't necessarily something they've been able to say in the first intermission a lot this year.
No, and you nailed it right on the head. I mean, you can tell UW's going to be a strong hockey team this year. You can just watch and play right now. But for what Eastern's doing to them, they're giving them everything they want, plain and simple.
Shot taken wide of the mark on the far side.
And so you look right there, you saw the cycle game going on. Laughlin kicked over to Young, who's playing unbelievably well. He's done all year. Kicked it over to Turney, had a nice slap shot up there. That's the movement that I've noticed tonight that I haven't seen from all year.
Young makes one man miss, trying to get it back out front. He has Cole Best waiting for him. And Morris going to rim it around for the Huskies. That's going to go the length of the ice. And Tierney going to have to chase. They're going to wave off that icing as Strand, the first one there.
Tip your cap to Strand on that one. He just hustled the Eagles on that one.
Stevenson now pinning Rimmer in up against the boards. Puck right out front, still on the stick of the Huskies. And Belair with it. Whalen now giving chase into the corner. He's going to try and push that up ahead. He's pinned to the wall by 2 Huskies. And quickly back out into the center. Now Whalen looking for that stretch pass, trying to get out ahead, and it's taken away by Luce. He's going to send it back in. Now touched up by Whalen. He's not able to hold on to it. Belair still with it, fighting for it in front of his own net. Now off of the netting. It looks like it might have gotten stuck in the door there.
But if you look at Whalen, Belair on that play right there, what he did really well, he saw his D-man go up. He instantly came back, took over the defensive position, and he got his body in front of the Husky player, and the Husky player couldn't do anything. And that's just good heads-up hockey. And Belair's been doing that every game. He's getting stronger and stronger. Same with Laughlin. They're getting more comfortable with this game, and they're doing a nice job for Eastern.
So the Huskies winning that face-off. and sent all the way back towards their own end of the ice.
Well, that was a tight one there.
Puck right out front, pushed over to the back door again, and this time Carew saw it coming, got across the blue paint, and smothered that.
That's the first time that I saw Eastern actually, UW had them so discombobulated they were chasing them. But I mean, again, that's in 24 minutes, and that's the first time I saw them running around. So Eastern just settle back in, do what they did in that first period, and they're going to be hard to beat tonight. And that's taking away nothing from UW. UW's going to be a strong squad again. You can see that. But Eastern's improvement from last week to this week is unbelievable.
Well, the Huskies already 16 shots on net through the first, we'll call it 24 minutes. Now a pile up down in the corner, fighting for it, looking to try and pull it out of there is Friedman, and he is the one that comes away with it. Goes back to his own man in front of the bench. Now backdoor shot and a goal again. Eastern Washington has to put somebody on the back door. All 3 goals by the Huskies coming from an unguarded man on the backside of Carew.
They're just losing them. And all those that you were talking about earlier, UW's just done a nice job of sneaking a player back in the back door, and Eastern has got to, like while you said, they have to pick that up because it's happened to them too many times. They just have to be aware. Where's those players? And that's your defensive core that right, or the communication aspect. But if they don't, this could be a long night actually, but hopefully they'll adjust to that. And the coaches know that, so they're going to be making some kind of adjustment with that.
Well, and this has been the Huskies' bread and butter, at least for the last couple of seasons. Eastern lost last year on this ice to them by giving up goals in the exact same way. And this time you see Young chasing it to the back door, puck right out front, passed to the stick of Campbell.
Well, partly what's helping UW get that man open, they're getting Eastern to chase them now, and Eastern didn't do that in the first period.
And now a chance here for Cole Best. He's all alone. He's got it on his forehand, backhand, sticked away by Tyler Roberts. What an opportunity for Cole Best, and a huge goaltender performance there by Roberts.
Well, Cole did a nice job of actually toe dragging it. It's just unfortunate that Roberts was on it and he poke checked it, but a nice move by Cole Best on that.
Now Jake with it. He's got a couple people out front. He's got Laughlin on the back door. Laughlin now into his legs. Still shielding the goaltender is Duncan Laughlin. Eastern chasing it all the way back into their own end now as Tierney is going to try and dump that up. Nobody there. Wells coming off of the bench. Masterson coming off of the bench. Able to touch it up just briefly. And now back to Tierney. Off the wall to Belair. Touched up into the zone. Giving chase now is Smith. He's going to have to defend against Masterson. A big hit for Holden Masterson there. His first big hit in an Eastern Washington uniform. Maloney with it, back below the end line. He's going to circle behind the Eastern Washington cage. No, now tries to take it. Goalmouth. Again, another backdoor shot. This one saved by Brendan Carew. Blockered out of the air.
One thing I've noticed UW, and this is one of the changes they made in between periods, now they're forcing Eastern to chase them, and that's what's opening up that backdoor shot by that lone man, because you can't, with them having Eastern chase them, it opens up the ice. Eastern just goes back, play like they did in the first period, play positional hockey, and they'll be fine. But right now, UW is putting so much pressure on them to try to make them chase them. It's opening up some shots. Good thing Carew was on top of his game, or that would have been in the net too.
You're right. Eastern's got to stay home here on defense, especially it seems like the second period, they're always trying to kind of cheat towards the bench a little bit and chase the puck on the defensive side. I don't know if it's this one again cleaned up on the back side of the action there, just wide of the net. Strand parallel to the blue line. He's knocked down as he gets rid of that one. Young behind the net. He's got Cheney in front of him.
Eastern may got away with that one on that one. They might have got away.
A little late there, right in front of the Huskies bench. You can see the entire bench was up in arms about that one. Maybe the officials went into the room and decided that they were going to call this one a little looser after that first period where they gave out 12 penalties. Or 9 penalties, rather. This one kicked by Demo. Back up front. And now a chance on the breakout for Lusk in just a couple of inches back behind him. Cheney squares the hips, skates backwards, pushes that one up the ice. Now Lusk makes one-man miss, comes across the blue line, is hit on the back shoulder there. And that'll be an icing. And as we head back the other way, Eastern getting some fresh skates on the ice. 11:55 left in this middle frame. The Huskies out shooting the Eagles 18-10. Eastern only one shot in the first 8 minutes of this period.
Well, the Huskies have done a nice job of disrupting Eastern positional play like they had in the first period. Eastern's got to recognize that and go back to exactly what they were doing in the first, because UW was having trouble with them on figuring out how they were going to open it up.
The Huskies able to win that one as Watton now up the low wall. Fakes the shot, then gets it off at just the last second. It's going to rim all the way around to Darren Morris. He's knocked off of the puck. Slapped back down by the Huskies. Shot taken by Morris. Off of the window behind, now to the near side. Laughlin has it. Plays it up ahead to Best. Jake can't hold on to it. Now back to Wells.
It's getting a little chippier, if you've noticed that. And right now, Tyler, there's some extra little stick swings and stuff.
It is a couple of extra steps after the pass like that there. This one sent back in. Carew squares up to it. Sends it behind his net. Giving pressure is Dominic Wolf from the Huskies, but the Eagles able to break out of their own zone, at least for a moment. Laughlin not able to hold on to it as Klenk sends it back into the neutral zone. And now Stevens going to rim it all the way to the far side. Cole Best with it. He had the best chance of the period for the Eagles so far. This one's going to roll the length of the ice. Looking to get there was Cole Best. They're going to say no icing. So the hustle paid off, at least in terms of getting the Huskies to reset in their own end. This one's going to be dumped as he crosses the center stripe. Now Belair with it. Strong stick work. He's got a man to his left. He's going to carry it, dump it in. And now Masterson going to give chase. Holden has it poked just off of his stick. And Eric's miscommunication there with Wyatt Stevenson. Both of them thought the other was going for the puck. Belair trying to send that across the ice. Gets taken down after he gets rid of it. And you're right, these hits, players following through here at the end of the play.
Well, there's a penalty coming up.
And it looks like maybe let's see who's going to take this one. And it looks like it is going to be Grant Stevens, who's going to take a seat. This penalty coming 10-15. Of this period. I believe that was an interference, so that would have been that hit on Waylon Belair down low. Actually, it looks like 2 minutes for holding. So still coming from that same incident. That's 4 penalties earned by Waylon Belair in the last 2 games. Heck, in the last 4 periods, really.
Well, he's starting to use the size to his advantage.
That's true.
And that can be extremely helpful and an effective weapon.
Well, and if you're a bigger guy that can't keep up with him, that's one of the most frustrating things in the world, when this little guy keeps skating past you, and eventually you get him lined up and maybe take a little bit too many liberties.
You do, or that's where you start seeing some cross checks, and somebody just blew up.
Maloney on Lusk. Lusk taking a second to reset himself, still staying with the play. Bumped into by Arzumanov behind him. A minute left on the power play for the Eagles. They had 2 power play goals in the first period. Just want to head to Flood. He tries to send it the length of the ice, but it's just off of the toe of his stick, still battling. And now it's sent back into the Eastern Washington zone. Wells with it. You hear Swoop down there trying to get the crowd into this one. A little bit of a mellow crowd here tonight. Still pretty good turnout for a Friday night here in Cheney.
It's an outstanding crowd here tonight on far size. Very impressive.
Those mystery signed pictures that everybody got. If you haven't seen them yet, I'm sure that they're up on social media. And Young going to give chase back behind his own net. 13 seconds left on the power play. Eastern going to have one more trip down the ice, but really not a whole lot of urgency on Eastern Washington's part here in this power play. And that's going to do it for the power play, and it's going to end with an icing as the action heading back into the Eastern Washington zone. The Eagles going to have to wake up.
Well, they're chasing UW right now, and I don't know how that really kind of transpired. I know that UW was trying to open up the neutral zone to try to get some more breaks on there. And Eastern, for some reason, it got away from their positional play like they did in the first, and now they're kind of scattered. They're chasing UW all over the ice and giving UW opportunities.
Now the Eagles finally able to get the puck out into the neutral zone. Stevenson turns. He's just going to send that one in and then try and chase it. Jake Best gets there first. He gives it back to Stevenson. Now Stevenson has it pinned up against the wall in the Zamboni corner. A little bit of rough ice over there. A little harder to get the puck dug out. And won by the Huskies, but immediately sent to the near side by the Eagles. Picking it up and circling back around is Williams for the Huskies. And Washington going to send that down the ice. Eastern the first one to get there, and that'll be an icing back into the shadow of the scoreboard.
And that could be a good technique. I've noticed 2 times now Eastern went to a dump and chase game, and they got the puck controlled. And that might be a good tactic just to try to slow UW down a little bit, make them chase the Eagles around a little bit more. So far, those 2 times they've done it, it's worked effectively.
So a face-off coming to the glove side of Tyler Roberts. The Washington netminder, Darren Morris on the far side. He wins that for the Huskies. But now Eastern trying to chase the puck again, just trying to maintain possession. Here comes Lusk. Lusk has to make one man miss, and he does with his speed. Pulls, fires into the wing of Tyler Roberts. He wasn't sure where that puck went.
No, Lusk did an outstanding job of using the D-man as a screen, and the goalie picked it up right toward the end, and he still wasn't sure he had it. But that was a nice job by Joel Lusk on that, too. Definitely use their defense, but against their own goalie.
It was a good show of Joel's speed. He was flying already and then turned on the jets to get around that last defender at the blue line. Wells with it. He's going to go to the far side now. Shot taken, back to Wells, into the bench. Almost taking out trainer Jose. Not sure who's going to fix him if he's the one that takes the puck.
One thing that makes Lusk so dangerous is, you mentioned, he's quick and he's fast. And when he turns the jet burners on, if he can catch a defense when semi-flat-footed, he's by him without no hesitation. The kid is just plain solid.
Masterson knocked off of the puck, but able to hold on to it is Stevenson. Wyatt knocked off of the puck with the body. It's going to go down. Waiting behind everybody was Lampman, and he tries to go to the near post, and Brendan Carew had that entire side of the net covered.
But again, UW sneaking a player. They went to that game. They're making EWU run around. They're trying to sneak a guy constantly behind. And so far, it's working for them.
So we'll have a face-off now to the glove side of Brendan Carew. It's a couple feet away from where that shot from Lampman came from. Now sent down the ice. This one pushed ahead. And they're going to call a delayed penalty, a hook.
And that's That was set up.
And an unsportsmanlike. We'll see who gets the unsportsmanlike, but somebody was mouthing off as Lampman was headed to the box. And we'll see if it was him or if it was somebody else.
That was set up by Laughlin. He was going and he ducked underneath the UW player, and that's all he could do. You mentioned it earlier. He got by him, so he had to hook him. And I'm not sure what the UW player said, but they got 2 people in the penalty box right now.
So Lampman said something, and he was assessed a 2-minute minor for unsportsmanlike, and Williams given a 2-minute for a hook.
If he wouldn't have hooked Laughlin was in all by himself. And that used his size to his advantage. He ducked up underneath him. Nothing Laughlin could have done but to take him down.
Well, and you could sense the frustration from the Huskies. That was their 7th penalty, and Lampman with the unsportsmanlike was their 8th. So a 5-on-3 opportunity for the Eagles here, a chance to get back on top. But as we talk about, these 5-on-3s, big momentum swings one way or the other.
This is major for EWU right now. There's no question in my mind.
Playing pass on the far side, looking for Flood out front. A one-timer opportunity, and he's not able to find the tape. Eastern a little careless with the puck here early on in this one. The good news for the Huskies is the 2 penalties happened simultaneously, so only 2 minutes of actual penalty time at the most here. Stick handling by Lusk. Shot taken, looking for the 5-hole from distance. Eastern scored from there before this year, and we'll have another stoppage, 1:13 left on the power play.
But it was good to see Thompson really on top of the goaltender, Roberts, and he was trying to screen him. And that's good to see, too, because if you can do that, especially on a 5-on-3, that's really going to help you get some shots on net.
This one's sent over to the far side. Tierney going to get there, stop the rolling puck on top of the blue line. The Eagles with it. Far side to Jake Best. He's going to go near side to Eriks. Eriks tries to get it. Almost passed it back over to Best on the far side. Now with Tierney. Tierney down low to Jake Best. He's got his brother Cole right in front of him, screening the netminder. Near side to Eriks. Down below. Easy pass to Best behind the net. Eastern really deliberate here on this power play. And actually, that's Stevenson out front. Cole Best down below. Now back to his brother Jake, up top to Tierney. Tierney thinks about it, gets the shot deflected just wide of the net. 30 seconds left on the power play. Eriks now thinking about a shot from the near side. Tries to go to that far corner. Finds a man on the backside in Cole Best. But Best not able to get the puck back to his stick cleanly. So 24 seconds, new skates on the ice.
Klink was the one that really made that work. He realized Best was behind him, and he just kind of tied him up with his body, and that's how come Cole didn't get a clean shot. But you got to tip your cap to the Huskies on that one. He was playing heads up.
Eagles win this face-off. Back to Wells. Wells over to the far side. Thinks about it. And then Young finally gives it away to Thompson. Thompson near side to Lusk. Lusk thinking about the shot. Has a man crashing the far post. He's going to take that shot and just a bit too tall. 2 seconds left on the power play. The second period is really where these power plays can be extended. Although there's 5 skaters on the ice, 4 of them have pretty tired legs at this point. Thompson puts it out front. Wells going to try and keep it in. And now as the Huskies head the other way, they'll get some fresh skates on the ice. All 3 forwards still out there for the Huskies. With the puck now is Rimmerin. This one bounces near side. Now playing with it is Strand. Tries to feed it out front. Now back out into the neutral zone. Losing his skates was Williams. The crowd letting him hear it about that. Wells now up the low wall. He's got a man coming. And that's where he goes. Right through the center to, I think that was Thompson. It was a good idea. Actually, that was Casey Young that made that move. 3 minutes left in the second period. 3s on the scoreboard for both teams. Having to give chase is Long. He's going to get there first. Trying to feed it out front. A couple of white jerseys crashing. And Long tying up the stick of Eriks to keep him from pushing it further down the ice. Erickson, easy knock over there of Friedman, very slow, and they're going to call that a penalty. I think if anything, they're going to end up with an interference here just because the amount of time that it took him to complete that hit. Cross-check is what they're going to go with.
I was agreeing with you on that one. I thought it was going to be an interference on that one.
So 17:33, the Huskies get their second power play of the game as Eric's going to take a 2-minute seat for a cross-check. Got to take that second hand off the stick. So Eastern essentially on the penalty kill for the remainder of this period unless the Huskies able to find the back of the net. 2:27 remaining in the second frame. Face-off won by the Huskies. Over to the far side now, back up top. Shot through traffic, bounces around right in front, corralled by the Huskies. Smith sends it over to the far side. Still holding on to it is Klenk. Back up to Smith up top. Daniel Smith, couple steps towards the goal. Shot fired, backdoor. This time Eastern with a player there as Arzumanov picks it up. Arzumanov plays it down the wall but doesn't give enough to it. Having to fight for it is Tracy now. Arzumanov back up at the top of the zone. Near side now. Shot taken, backdoor goal again. 4 goals, 4 backdoor shots for the Huskies. This is their first power play goal.
They're just sneaking the guy in. And that's on that one right there, the same thing. The forward kicked back a little bit, and then he just slowly kept creeping up. And that back door's been wide open. You called it, but it's staying wide open right now.
And I think that was Smith, which would give him his second goal of the contest.
But you got to give him credit. He did a nice job of just watching it. He set it up that way. He just kept slowly going into the wide open area.
But Eastern has got to plant somebody on that back post. This is how the Huskies beat them last year. Now a chance for Lusk. He's going to get it out front, forehand, right into the chest of the netminder. He picked that one up a little bit late. Really, that was his only option. But the Eagles still with it. And confirmation that was a goal from Smith. Now Thompson looking to go to the far side. Tough angle shot there. It's going to be picked up by the Huskies. Enders finally. And now coming down the ice is Wolf. Wolf has one man in front of him trying to use the defender as a screen. And Eriks does a good job of getting in the way of that one and sending it up into the netting. Under a minute left to play in the second period. The Huskies with their first lead of the game coming from a power play goal from Daniel Smith, his second of the contest. Took them just about 42 seconds to find the back of the net that time on the power play. Puck to the far side. And Carew going to hold on to that shot from Morris. .8 on the scoreboard. Face-off coming the Eastern Washington end of the ice. Off the wall, Morris now trying to feed it in. Touched up right in front of the blue paint. And now trying to get it back to the slot. The Eagles thinking about dumping it, and instead, Best's going to take it behind his own net, but just out of the reach of Wells. And back to the Huskies. Into the glove of Carew, snatches that one out of the air like Cal Raleigh. 24.3 seconds left to play in this second period. Face-off initially won by the Eagles, but the Huskies quickly gained possession. Williams pokes it just past the stick of Best on the far side. Now Wells having to fight off Arzumanov. Nice, easy, touched off pass. And they're going to say no icing as the period comes to a close. The Huskies having netted 2 in this frame, putting them on top 4-3 over the Eagles. That first goal coming from Quinn Tracy, and the second goal coming from Daniel Smith on the power play. The Eagles scoreless. And they're going to give Eastern Washington a 2-minute penalty at the end of this period for cross-checking. Looks like it's going to go to Cole Best. So Cole Best is going to start the third period in the penalty box, not the way that Eastern is going to want to start these final 20 minutes searching for that last goal. But we'll be back in 20 minutes. You're watching Eastern Washington University men's hockey. Friends and family, welcome back to the Eastern Washington University Recreation Center for what is sure to be an exciting third period of hockey between these Pac-8 opponents, the visiting Washington Huskies, who won the league last year, and the hometown Eastern Washington University Eagles, who hosted the tournament last year and again this year. You hear the crowd as the Eagles take the ice. Eastern Washington down 4-3 after 2, and they're going to start with 4 men on the ice in this third period as Cole Best picked up a 2-minute cross-checking minor on his way to the locker room. My name's Tyler Pisani, joined by Gary Allen. And Gary, we saw maybe the best period of the year, and then maybe one of the, I'm going to say it, maybe one of the worst periods of the year from the team. What are you expecting here in period number 3?
Well, I'm hoping what the coaching staff did, they drew it up in between periods. And to go back to how you played the first period, they played great positional hockey. They had their passing lanes open. They shut down UW's passing lanes. Worked great in the first period. For some reason they got away from it. UW started to make them chase them, opened up all their passing lanes, and they shut down EWU's passing lanes. That goes back to playing positional hockey. That's what they got to do.
And the Huskies win that faceoff, try and bring it right into the attacking zone. And just like that, it's sent back down to the Eastern Washington end of the Husky end of the ice, and they've got to take the 200-foot journey back towards the Eastern Washington goal.
But that was good. I mean, you were spot on that one. That first period was the best hockey that Eastern's played this year. In the second period, it's kind of they reverted back to their old style of chasing everything. So hopefully they work that out and think, okay, this is what we're going to have to do, because they looked outstanding that first period.
Minute 32 left in this minor penalty to start the third period. Eagles being outshot 24-17 by the Huskies. Klenk going to go to the far side. Shot taken, kick to the back door again. An unmarked man on the back door. Eastern Washington lucky that the Huskies weren't able to field that one cleanly, as Smith was looking for his third. Back up top to Maloney. He's going to go to Klenk on the left side. Back to Maloney up top. He's going to fire the shot. Kicked away to the corner by Carew. Half of the penalty expired. Smith behind the net. He's got Maloney out front. Actually, Smith now in front of the net. Turns, fires well wide of the net. A turnaround shot that's going to send the puck all the way back towards his own netminder. This gives Eastern Washington some fresh skates out onto the ice. 45 seconds left as Maloney going to try and skate through the entire Eastern Washington team. And Carew covering that up. Maloney coming a little bit too close for comfort. As you see the new captain, Trenton Wells. We'll let him know what's going on.
I had to let him know, we're not going to do this. But if you notice, and you mentioned, and they're giving him a penalty for that.
Looks like they're going to send both of them to the sin bin, really trying to keep a handle on this third period, I think, with 13 penalties through the first 2 periods.
But you were talking about that backdoor guy that Eastern's been missing. I was watching him on that. And all 4 of the Eagles went to the one side, and they had 2 Huskies wide open down low on the right side of Carew. And that goes back to just making sure you're playing your position. You won't run into that problem. But they chased everybody, and they almost got caught again on that one.
So was that Wells that they ended up sending to the box? I don't see anything up on the scoreboard.
Wells was the one that was initially was down there. I don't
okay, so it looks like Thompson. So it'll be Thompson going to take the penalty for a rough. They're trying to figure out if they want to play 5-on-4 or 4-on-3 for the remaining 41 seconds of Cole Best's minor penalty. Right now it's 5-on-4. Actually, 6 skaters on the ice for the Huskies, as Daniel Smith over talking to the referee at the Huskies penalty box. Here comes Wells. We'll see what they say. Looks like they're going to go 4-on-3.
Which would make sense, especially since they just called that last penalty. So I don't see where there was confusion on 5-on-4.
The Huskies sent 5 guys out there. They were ready to just keep going. And it made sense because the penalties didn't end up on the board.
Yeah.
But now they're there. So 4-on-3 hockey, lots of open ice here. 33 seconds left on the power play for the Huskies. They'll have one more trip down the ice, maybe 2, depending on how quickly they get this out of their own end. Williams to Rimmerin. Now back up top to Williams. Williams over to the far side. Wells blocks that one. Back up to Williams. He tries to take that shot into the legs of Lusk. He didn't know where it went. And here comes Cole Best out of the penalty box. Huskies still in possession. Back door. And this time the Eagles doing a good job of getting a guy on that man on the backside, but now waiting on the back door is Loon. And they're going to take a shot covered up by Carew. Eastern going to get some fresh skates on the ice, I would assume. 1:04 left on the matching minor penalties.
Well, what UW's doing a nice job of, and I think this is what's causing the Eagles some trouble, is they're actually having the guy way out in the circle on the near board, like on that last play, and you can't account for him because you don't see him, so you don't think anyone's there, but they always have someone right in the middle of that circle, and that's how they're cheating in and getting that free guy open.
Cole Best with the toe drag shot from distance as he came out of the box. Fuller loose, picks it up, sends it into the neutral zone. And Watton going to take a couple of steps towards the goal mouth and kicked all the way back into the neutral zone where Klenk for the Huskies is going to pick it up. He's going to send it to his man on the far side. And Jake Best looking to knock the guy off the puck. Can't do much there as Watton going to walk in, take a shot into the glove of Carew. 32 seconds left of 4-on-4 hockey.
Eastern's been doing a better job of staying home, staying in their lanes, and so that's slowing down UW, and that's what they need to continue to do. Quit chasing them.
Puck through traffic into the midsection of Carew, and then some pushing and shoving after the play.
I noticed the Best brothers tonight are taking exception to a lot of what the Huskies are doing and letting them know, like, no, we're not going to do this. So,
well, Jake Best been on the team 3 or 4 years, has lots of time against these Huskies on the ice, and these teams do change year over year, but you still have a relative core of your group that sticks around. And when you play people in these high stakes environments like Eastern and Washington have over the last few seasons, it doesn't matter if it's been 8 months since you've seen each other. That rivalry does not go away.
And as they keep kind of zeroing in on the returner players, and so there's some carryover, which you would expect.
So 5 seconds left on these matching minor penalties to Maloney and Thompson. Face-off won by Eastern. And sent into the neutral zone. Flood going to give chase. He's got Lusk in the center. Lusk waiting at the back door now. Flood trying to poke that in the near post. And doing a good job of covering that up was Tyler Roberts for his 16th save of the night. Eastern not putting many shots on the netminder tonight. In contrast to the 19 shots of Eastern, 30 shots by the Huskies. Tierney chops at it, keeps it in. And then Flood sends it around. Chasing is Lusk. He's got to beat Smith. Instead, he plays the body there, so the Huskies going to stick with the puck into the neutral zone. Eastern going to bring it through the neutral zone. 4 guys in red jerseys in the center of that zone. Dumping it in, and now Thompson trying to keep it in. He gets a stick stuck up in his armpit. He throws it down to the ice. Action the other direction. Stevens takes a shot wide of the net. And just able to keep it in is Campbell on the far side. And now Stevens out front. Bouncing puck and then sent the length of the ice, having to chase it as Lusk. And coming out of his net is Roberts. Lusk there to play that pass. And Roberts giving up the icing call to keep possession with his team. And just like that, the Huskies back in the attacking zone. Maloney near side to Smith. This one pushed away by Laughlin. Now Cheney having to chase Smith back behind. Cheney staying on the back door. And Carew covering that one up. Cheney in a good position there. Lost the puck for a moment, but no harm, no foul as Carew able to cover it up. And it looks like they're having a conversation here to see if somebody's going to get sent to the box. It looks like ACHA going to take a 2-minute timeout. The officials are done with anything post-play here. And the first team to figure that out is the one that's going to be on the advantage here for the rest of the period. This penalty coming 4:40 of the first. Bouncing puck out front, deflected to the back door, but there again, an Eastern Washington player to clear it up. Carew uses his stick there to corral that one, sucks it back into his glove. So another stoppage here with 1:48 left on the power play for the Huskies.
One thing I've noticed, though, with the officials calling this game so tight and not letting the players really play, it's really hampering Eastern because they get a little momentum. They start getting back in their rhythm, and then they get some kind of penalty that, I don't know, it's questionable. So actually, to me, it's hurting EWU right now because they just can't get their step back in because they get thrown in the penalty box.
You mentioned it earlier on in this game, Gary. They're a little too used to playing down a man, and we're seeing that tonight. Look, that backdoor crash, and this time Carew read it well. But you could even hear the fans in the building yelling about that backdoor crash, and didn't really seem like anybody in a red sweater on the ice even saw it coming.
No, and they did it again. UW, they flooded one side, Eastern everybody went to that one side.
And you can see Smith floating up into the back door here, and that's right where he goes. And Thompson making him pay for it as he comes across the center of the zone. And good defense by Eastern Washington as Carew was down on the ice. And the defense keeping that puck out of the back of the net that time. Again, near side is Smith. And Carew going to cover it up as Smith again ends up on the ice. He's getting a lot of shots in this period, Gary. Lots of opportunity, but he's having to pay for each and every one of them.
He is. But I got to give credit to Lane Eriks on that one. He did a nice job of standing his ground, and he's the one that actually cleared that puck out because that was a wide open net. If he missed that, that puck's in the back of the net. So good heads-up play by Eriks on that one.
13:54 left to play in this game. 35 seconds left on the ACHA Cheney minor penalty. Wells with some power tries to send it all the way around, but first player there in a white jersey. Now Williams takes a shot. That one looked like it floated a little bit on Carew, the way that he reacted. He went down and then almost diving forward to try and snatch that out of the air.
It almost looked like a knuckle puck, actually, the way it was moving on him. But there's no question in my mind, UW's going to definitely keep flooding that back door with two players. They've done it this whole period. They did it most of the second. So that's part of their attack. There's no question in my mind about that.
Williams not alone. He takes a shot, just a bit too tall. Morris on the backside. That one's going to get pushed up in front of the Eastern Washington box as Cheney exits the sin bin. He's going to head straight back to the bench. Bouncing puck out front. Carew laying parallel to the line. He's got Morris over the top of him. Luckily, that puck sent behind the goal. Near side to Williams. Williams going to bring it across the blue line. Loose puck as it gets towards the net. Williams knocked away, but he was able to get the shot off. Cole Best high and off the boards, bouncing it into neutral ice. Then chopped back in by Morris. They're going to say no icing. This one hits the side of the cage. And Eastern going to move from the left to the right through the neutral zone. They're going to roll that one down the ice. And Best not able to get there fast enough. So it'll head back to the Eastern Washington end of the ice. Back to five-a-side hockey. Eastern only 2 shots so far in this period.
If Eastern can figure out that they're flooding those 2 guys in the back door, pick that up, they could get a breakaway on that long ice pass that they used to do the last couple of years. That's wide open. So if Eastern can adjust to that, realize what they're doing, they got some passing lanes off of that, and that they can do a quick attack on UW.
1, 2, 3, 4 across the clock on the scoreboard. 3 goals for Eastern, 4 for the Huskies. The Eagles really need to get the puck out of their own end. And just not able to maintain possession the last couple of minutes. Sticked away by Carew. His 31st save of the night. Campbell now from distance. On the near side was Tracy. That's where it goes. Tracy going to take a couple of steps. Looking for the man right out front. And Carew knocked down by the Husky player that crashed that near post. And this one's touched up. They're going to say not touched up. And now touched up. Linesmen having a conversation between themselves across the ice. Watton pushes that in, looking to crash the back door. Went Wolf. He's going to go towards the puck now as it goes back out into the neutral zone to Klenk. Klenk, a spinning dump down to ACHA behind his own net. Now it's going to go to the far side. Not able to hold on to it was Blazekovic. And Crew's going to hold on to that one for another face-off. His 32nd save of the night so far. Still 11 and a half to play.
Well, there's still plenty of game for Eastern to get back and tie this up. They just got to settle down a little bit more. And they're playing a better period than they did second period.
Another puck right out front. Carew having to make 3 quick saves as the only sticks able to find the puck are ones from players wearing white jerseys. Carew again covers that one up. And we'll have another face-off on the far side. Sent back to the Husky defense. Masterson trying to push it ahead. He's able to Stevenson. Now Eriks, easy push off the wall to Stevenson. He wasn't able to stop and change directions. So now here comes Wolf. He's going to lay it off near side. Going for that back door again is where Wolf was. Laughlin trying to clear that. Can't get a hold of it. Now into the neutral zone. Pushed ahead and now giving chase is Lusk. Lusk looking for somebody out front. He's got Laughlin. Instead, it's picked up before it gets to him. Shot taken and gloved by Roberts.
But if you look at that last play down in Eastern's end, Eriks did a great job of actually covering that backdoor guy again because he just rolled him straight off and the guy didn't have a shot on it. That was heads up by Lane. And that's really all they have to do is just make sure they know where that one guy is, and they'll shut that off.
And Roberts covers that up. A little close for comfort there by Eastern Washington. I think that was Sam Thompson getting into that blue paint with Roberts. So we'll have a reset to the glove side of Roberts again, near side of the ice for us. Back to Wells. He's able to hold it in. Tries a high dump down into the corner. Back out front to Flood. Can't get the puck to his stick. Now Maloney robbed of the puck behind the net by Joel Lusk. Shot taken by Tierney. Comes to the near side to Wells. Wells backhands it down low, looking to go across. Lusk not able to hold on to it. Eastern trying to take a page out of the Washington book and just not able to hold on to it. Wells battling for that puck hard down low. Sort of up ahead. Lusk leaves it behind, but Flood going to dump it down, and he's going to give chase and be the first one there. Huskies able to maintain possession. Back up top to Thompson. He's not able to hold on to it. Cheney has to get on his horse and beat Arzumanov. He's able to. Turns, fires, but right into the stick of Smith, who's already got 2 tonight. He puts that one on the ice, and Carew able to cover it up. Last 5 minutes of this period, kind of hectic for both teams. the Huskies able to get a couple of shots off, but nobody able to really build any offense or maintain the puck for more than 2 or 3 passes.
No, they're both actually playing scattered right now because UW got away from their style of, and Eastern showed signs that they were going to go back to their positional play, and then every once in a while they go revert back. If they would just do that, I think they could easily get in this game.
They've had a couple of opportunities to get the puck, and just like you saw there, just a couple of steps away from it. Strand taken down as he tries to make one more move in the middle of the Eastern Washington zone. He's back up in front of the blue paint. And good job by Blaze to knock his player off of the puck there. In and out of the glove of Carew. It's going to go back behind the net, looking for the wraparound of the Huskies. Right out front, and what a save by Brendan Carew. Point blank, one knee, one timer, and he read that perfectly.
He did, and again, there Washington, what they did, they went to a cycle game, and they got that guy finally freed up in the top of the slot. It's a one-time shot off of that one, so you got to give credit to UW for making that, and they're reverting back to their style that they did early in the second period.
The Huskies with it again. Pass out front, this time looking to go to the near post. New tactic for the Huskies, but that shot taken by Quinn Tracy, swallowed up by Carew. His 35th save of the night.
But if you notice what they did on that one, they sucked 2 of the Eagles down on him and then had their one-point guy right there in the middle of the slot, had a nice one-timer. So I think UW's doing it by design right now from what I can pick up in the last minute and a half.
And Easter doing a good job of watching the back post. And that one, an accidental goal by the Huskies as it bounced off of his skate as he was trying to get a stick to it, but it counts just as much for Maxim Watton, and that's going to double the lead of the Huskies. With 8:13 left to play.
Not give UW credit. They're playing a system that they're with their cycle game. They're having one guy that they're plopping in that middle of the slot, and so far it's been open for the last 3-4 minutes. And they got a goal off of that one this last time.
Carew can only do so much back there.
Oh yeah, he's been a force. I mean, yeah, that wasn't on him. That was just a quick shot.
So Stevens back with it in his own end for the Huskies. Eastern Washington looking to get something going here in the final 8 minutes of this contest. It'd go a long way to pull even with the reigning Pac-8 champions. And that's going to be a delayed penalty coming against the Huskies. And now as the puck goes the other way, Eastern might have earned their own way into the sin bin, which just late in the game is not something that you can do. But Carew knocked down, and that's going to send the Huskies to the box. 12 minutes, 24 seconds into the third period. Looks like, see who that is.
Well, Wells and Thompson both took a section to it, and Wells is going to go in the box for that last hit.
And this is another instance of Eastern shooting themselves in the foot. They went from a power play to now a penalty kill.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure why Thompson got in. All he did was move the guy away from Carew. But again, it's like, I understand make the calls consistent, but I mean, what was the difference on that one in the first period? That Hood got bounced. Then on this one right here, and again, Eastern gets 2 guys in the box for it. It's like, I don't know, Tyler.
Little inconsistency from the Zebras here tonight. Kind of both ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you want to call a tight game, but I mean, let them play. I mean, that one was extremely. Maybe that little chop in the back of the legs, I could see where they caught that one, but I'm still not figuring out where Thompson got in, why he got it. He just pushed the guy out of the way from Carew.
It seems like sometimes in this period they're allowing a little bit of extra after the play, and then sometimes they're not, which is completely their prerogative as long as it's consistent.
It is, but anyone that's been around hockey knows if you touch a goalie, there's going to be some ramifications out of it. That's been that way since hockey started.
And we saw that on the other side.
Yeah, we did. The first
after
period.
the goal.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't.
So as it stands, Eastern going to spend 2 minutes on the penalty kill, which down by 2 with under 8 to play is not where you want to go.
No, not at all, because now they're battling, and I'm not sure. They're not bouncing him, are they?
Well, the official touched his helmet.
I don't get it. I'm sorry.
And they're going to send a second Eastern Washington player to
sorry.
the locker room for head contact.
I don't understand it. I'll be frank. I'm going to say it. I just don't get it.
This just seems a little bit petty by the official crew here, as the netminder taken down with what looked like potentially a slew foot.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that, but a second head contact.
And it wasn't even that. There was actually a slash on the back of the leg. That's the only thing you could really see out of it. I'm sorry, but.
So as it stands, 2 penalties on the board, 4-on-4. There's no additional penalty on the board for Thompson. So 4-on-4 hockey here, 7:36 left to play.
I would just like an explanation. What's the difference from the first period when Hood got bounced to what happened on this one? Crew got knocked down, ran over basically, and they get a 2-minute. And now they're giving him an unsportsmanlike conduct. It looks like on the bench of EWU.
That one looks like it's going to go to Coach Jay Oyen, who rightfully so, a little frustrated by this. So Eastern Washington not able to stay out of their own way, not necessarily sure that it's been their fault here. And
not this go around.
We don't typically mention the officials. We don't get paid to wear the stripes.
Nope.
But it's tough in a contest like this. So now 4-on-3 here.
Hopefully EWU can kill both of these off. That'll give them a ton of momentum. There's still plenty of time in the game.
So I think we've got a rundown of these penalties here. It looks like the UW player, that looks like it's Benjamin Lampman. So Lampman, 2 minutes for a charge on the netminder. And then Sam Thompson DQ'd for unsportsmanlike conduct. Wells got a slash, and then a bench minor for unsportsmanlike conduct. So I think it might have just been a 10-minute for Sam, and since there was less than 10 minutes left in the game, they sent him to the locker room. And there's Daniel Smith, his third of the game. So that'll take away the power play.
Well, that's the advantage when you're on a 4-on-3. There's so much ice, like you keep mentioning. That's all it was. It was just UW got the puck, went behind the net, and you can't cover on a 4-on-3. You can't cover everybody on that. Did a nice job of burying it into the back of the net.
So the Huskies take it, dump it back into the glove of Carew. So back to 4-on-4 hockey for 58 seconds. Eastern trailing 6-3 after a wild third period. And now Cole Best has one man in front of him, a swing and a miss by the Husky defenseman. Looks like that was Clank. Was able to knock that puck off of his stick, backhanded. Now Eric's on the far side trying to get that puck. Now Best's trying to pick it up. Finally, Jake Best gets a hold of it. He can't get it any further than the blue line. And now Tierney. This one sent the length of the ice. And there to pick it up is Clank. Lung now. He's going to leave it in and head back to the bench as both players exit the box now. Back to five-a-side hockey for the remaining 5.5 minutes. Puck into the center of the neutral zone. Now pushed away, pushed ahead. Masterson, he's going to give chase, but Morris going to send it the other direction. Shot taken from the center of the zone by Friedman, and Carew going to hold on to that with 5:04 left to play in this game.
Well, it'll be interesting now to see if the Eagles start taking a little bit of a gamble, pinch some of their defense from down low, and see if they can get an odd number in front of Roberts in the UW, because this is a good time to start saying, okay, we're going to have to do some gambles.
And that went into the glove by Morris. At exactly 5 minutes left to play. This one chopped up ahead as Blaze with it. Spins around, finds it. Tries to get it out of the zone, but can't. The Huskies doing a good job of holding the wall. Eastern going to have to try and push this up more central. Morris now at the blue line. Eastern going to take another penalty here as Roberts heads to his bench. Tracy back towards his own end. 6 skaters on the ice for the Huskies. And now it looks like maybe coincidental, Miners, as the Huskies had the puck. Not sure why they blew this one dead unless the Huskies also picked up a penalty.
I think he called a double, and one for the Huskies and one for the Eagles.
So these matching Miners come 15-27.
Watson's definitely one in the box for UW. Well, I think the
crowd is unhappy,
voicing their opinion of what's going on.
So it looks like it's going to be Tierney for Eastern Washington. And like you said, Watton for the Huskies. Coincidental Miners. So more 4-on-4 hockey.
Well, it definitely looks like the animosity is building up for tomorrow night's game. It should be really interesting.
This one sent back behind the net. Now Wells going to chase it over to the far side. Flood. He's going to try and send it up ahead. But we're talking about moral victories earlier during the intermission. And a goal for Eastern Washington here late, 1 or even 2, would be a good victory or good moral victory heading into tomorrow. But it's going to be tough for them to jump right to it in that first period tomorrow if they give up 4 straight goals to the Huskies. The hand pass called by the referee at center ice, about 100 feet away from the action. 1:02 left to play on this coincidental minor penalty situation here between these two teams. 3:35 left to play in the contest.
One thing I'm hoping happens with Eastern is they look at that first period and see how well they played and how they played as a unit. They got away from it in the second period. They picked it up a little bit more in the third, but they can go back and just look at that and say, okay, this is what we've got to keep doing. That this game would be a total different outcome right now.
when you look at the discipline in the first period from the Eagles, they took that series of penalties from Isaac Hood after his goal and then only had one more penalty in that first period. And I think that's really what made the difference is, you're right, not having so much of that choppy play. Every time one of these teams seems to build up momentum, a penalty gets called one way or the other. We've had 20 penalties so far in this game, 10 for each team.
But what Eastern was doing an outstanding job of is positional hockey in that first period. It was incredible. The passing lanes were open the whole time. That's how they jumped out to that 3-1 lead. Is like, no, they were working like a clockwork actually, and then they kind of slipped away from it in the second. But if they just go back to that, they'll give you Dub everything they want, but they have to go back and look at that first period how they played.
Wells now stops, circles back behind his own blue line. Now Young going to give chase. He's going to leave that one off as Roberts tries to send it back down the ice. Players exit the box as Wells tries to send it up ahead. Best's going to pick up that deflection. Now back to Wells. Tierney's going to send it down the ice, touched up right at the blue line. And Lusk makes one-man miss, tries to feed it ahead to Jake Best, but it's just behind his skates. Now Lusk again looks to make one-man miss, tries to feed it to Jake Best, can't get it there. Now Tierney doing a good job of keeping it out of the zone. Cheney has that one knocked away as Lusk cleans it up in the neutral zone. Lusk has a man on the far side. He's got one Husky in front of him and ends up having that one shot down into the corner. Best waiting for it out front. He's joined by Tierney. Players on the ice back behind the cage. Under 2 minutes left here to play. And it hits so hard it takes off the helmet of Morgan Campbell. Otherwise, a fairly clean hit it looked like, from at least from our vantage point. So I have to blow the play dead as player without his safety equipment out there. .144 left to play. We're back here tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern versus the Huskies. You can get your tickets EWUEaglesHockey.com, or you can get them at the door, $10 either way. A jump there by Friedman, hurdling the defense, looks to do it again, and this time pinned high up into the glass. 90 seconds left to play as beating out that puck is Watton. Pushed away. Now Lusk pinned to the wall is another Eastern Washington penalty. Coming late in this one, heading to the bench was Roberts, and it's not going to matter as that puck finds a stick out top of the crease. And it looks like that's Maxim Watton. Back-to-back goals for him, I believe.
Well, you got to give UW credit. I mean, they took an onslaught from EWU in that first period, held on, and then they've just been kind of playing their own game, and they're doing a cycle game, and it's working for them. They're sending down that one guy in the corner that's been opened by the net. They've done a nice job here tonight, but I still maintain if Eastern would go back to how they played that first period, it'd be a whole different hockey game right now. But like I said, you got to tip your cap to the Huskies. They stuck with it.
Going down 3-1, sticking with it through that second period, able to take a 4-3 lead after that second period and really kind of pour it on here in the third. A little bit of undisciplined play from both teams in a couple of different periods. And they're actually going to wave off that goal after a conversation. And we'll see what happens here. So still just 6-3, as after a conference, the officials wave it off, which is what you want to see from an official crew, coming together, having a conversation, and making the right call.
Because it was pretty apparent one of them saw something different. So, you got to tip your cap to them, too, because they got together and they decided, no, it wasn't a goal.
So here's something interesting. There was a delayed penalty against Eastern coming. And the penalty was never called, but the goal was waved off. So I think that's what UW is questioning. Now it looks like the officials trying to figure out which player it was and what the penalty was that they were going to call, because got to clear your mind after that, right? You get that goal, you don't even think about what the penalty was because it doesn't matter. So some more conversations here as they're trying to figure out who it was that they were going to send to the box and for what. And it looks like it's going to be Wells. Okay, Wells is going to go up to the top of the officials' crease, wait for an explanation. This is a good time to talk about the captains tonight. The captain crew for Eastern Washington announced pregame. It was signed mystery picture giveaway, and that mystery picture was the 4 captains, the alternates, Sam Thompson, Jake Best, and Frank Flood. And Trenton Wells is going to take the captaincy this season. You've seen him in this game taking charge of the ice. And we're still trying to sort out this penalty. Currently player 0. And the officials still having a conversation with Eastern Washington's bench. It's clear they can't remember who they called the penalty on, and Eastern Washington isn't going to volunteer anybody at this stage in the game.
I think Max Tierney's going in for him.
Now it looks like it is Mac. So Tierney going to take whatever this delayed penalty was. It looked like a hook. But you can tell the crowd here in Cheney not happy with this one. Kick save and a beauty by Brendan Carew as that puck still floating out in front of him. And he covers that one up. 62 seconds left to play. So Gary, heading into tomorrow night, what does Eastern need to do?
Literally, there's no question in my mind. They have got to go back to how they did that first period. They played their positions correctly. Their defense was leading the rush form. That's how they were attacking. UW didn't know how to stop it. And they had their passing lanes wide open for them, and they shut down UW's passing lanes. And that's why that first period was so outstanding by the Eagles. If they revert back to that, they're going to give UW everything they want tomorrow. That's what I would say they would need to do. Take a look at the film.
Shot taken from the top of the zone, less than 30 here to play. Huskies lose the puck on the far side. And the Huskies going to take game 1 of the weekend. It's their second straight win on this sheet of ice. The last one coming in the Pac-8 championship tournament championship game. But Eastern going to try and turn the tides tomorrow. Just a quick recap of tonight's goal scorers. It started with Isaac Hood kicking off the game, and then Blake Strand for the Huskies scored on the power play. Eastern Washington adding 2 power play goals themselves from Joel Lusk and Sam Thompson, but Daniel Smith finishing off the first period as the Eagles took a 3-2 lead into the locker room. Since then, it's been 4 straight goals, 5 straight if you count the Daniel Smith goal at the end of the first. It's been all the University of Washington. Williams and Smith in the second period, Friedman and Smith with his third in the third period. And 26 penalties between these two teams today. We'll be back at it tomorrow here at the URC as the Eagles look to right the ship against the Huskies in this Pac-8 showdown. For our camera gal Harper, our graphics gal Kayla, everybody here at Eastern Washington University Hockey, including my color guy Gary Allen, I'm Tyler Pisani saying good night, go Eags, and we'll see you at the barrel.